Okay, today we are going to be solving equations again, but it's multi-step equations, so you're going to have to do more than one step to solve the equation. Make sure that you wrote down the objective and the essential question for today. How do you know the next operation to apply when solving? So we're going to write down some notes first in your notebook. Okay, we're going to write down some steps, the steps that you're going to follow in order to solve the equations today. Last week we did distributing, okay? That's when you have a parentheses, and you have to distribute, right? Multiply. That's the first step you need to do. Check if there's parentheses, and if there is parentheses, you need to do distributive property. Distributive property. Okay, so write down the first step, distributive property. That's the first thing we need to do if there is parentheses to get rid of the parentheses. Okay, and you can pause the video at any time if I'm going too fast or if you need more time to write this stuff down. It goes in your notebook. Step 2, you need to have all of the variables on one side and all of the constants on the opposite side. So we're going to move variables and constants to one side. Is this red? Red. I'm just going to say move the variables to one side. Okay, that means we're going to move everything else to the other side. We have to separate everything. Okay, because at the end of the day, we're solving for the variable, so I want the variable to be by itself. And remember, variable is your letter. Okay, whether it's X or Y or whatever. Step 3 is combine like terms. Are there things that you can combine? Combine like terms. Okay, there's going to be things on the left side that you're going to combine, and there's going to be things on the right side that you're going to combine. And then the last step is solve. Solve for the variable. And a lot of the times it's going to be solved by dividing. The last step is probably going to always be dividing, but it could be multiplying. So I'm not going to put solve by division or solve by multiplication. You just have to solve the variable. Okay, so I'm going to do 6 examples with you, and then you're going to do a quizzes. And remember that the quizzes, where is it? Hold on. The quizzes you can find in Schoology, and it's in the calendar, and I put the code there. That's the code that you use for homework if you want to bring your grade up. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. We're going to do problem number 1, and we're going to follow those steps. So I'm going to draw my line. Step number 1 is distribute. Is there anything for me to distribute? Do you see parentheses on here? No. So you don't have to distribute. Step 2. Move the variable to one side. That means I'm going to move the variables to one side. This minus 4x and this minus 3x need to stay together on one side. And then the other stuff, this one and this one, need to move over here with this one. Okay? And when you move stuff, you need to change the sign. So this minus 7 becomes plus 7. And this plus 4 becomes a minus 4. Okay? So move it over, change the sign. Move it over and change the sign. Step number 3 is combine like terms. So I'm going to combine the minus 4x and the minus 3x. So minus 4x minus 3x. And on the other side, I'm going to combine 25 plus 7 minus 4. So you're going to put that in decimals. I have negative 4 minus 3, enter. Oops, minus 3. That's the left side. And then the right side, it's 25 plus 7 minus 4, enter. So on one side I have negative 7x, and on the other side I have 28. So let's go ahead and write that down. This gave me negative 7x, and this gave me 28. And the last step is solve. And I told you that the last step is always going to be probably division. And in this case, we are going to have to divide because I got to separate these two. So we're going to separate by dividing both sides by 7 so that it can cancel. Put this in decimals. 28 divided by negative 7. 28 divided by negative 7 gives me a negative 4, and that is your final answer. Okay, so last week I taught some of you how to do it in decimals, how to check this work in decimals. So this is how we're going to do that. I'm going to put the left side, all of this, in y equals, and the right side in y equals. So right here, you put y equals the left side, which was negative 4x minus 7 minus 3x plus 4. And then y equals the right side, which was 25. Okay, you zoom out, and you look at where both lines cross. The answer is the x, which is negative 4, and that's exactly what we got. So check, my work is correct. Problem number 2. What's the first step? Step number 1, what is it? Distribute. There is parentheses right here, so I'm going to distribute the negative 4 to the 7a and to the 5. So we're going to multiply. And you can use decimals to multiply. Negative 4 times 7, enter, and negative 4 times 5, enter. Okay? So I end up right here with negative 24a, and right here with negative 20. So I have negative 28a minus 20 equals, bring this down, minus 160. Step number 2. You should have this on your in your notebook. Step number 2, move the variable to one side. Well, I already have the variable by itself here, so I just need to move this away from it. So I'm going to move it to the other side, change the sign, so it becomes plus 20. So you can get rid of it. Okay? So what's negative 160 plus 20? Negative 160 plus 20 gives you a negative 140. Negative plus 20 gives you a negative 140. So I have, bring this down, negative 28a equals negative 140. And then the last step is to divide both sides by negative 28 so that it cancels. Okay, so in the calculator, negative 140 divided by negative 28. Gives me a positive 5. So A equals positive 5. I'm going to do one more problem in this video, and then I'll do the other 3 problems in video number 2. Problem number 3, draw the line. Step number 1, distribute, right? So what am I going to distribute? The 2. So what's 2 times 5k? Positive 10k. And what's 2 times negative 3? Negative 6. Everything else comes down. So this 3k comes down, and this 7 comes down. Step number 2, the variables need to be on one side and the constants need to be on the other side. So which one do you want me to move? What can I move? I have the k here and here, so leave them there. Move this one away. So it becomes plus 6. Okay, combine like terms. The things on the left go together, the things on the right go together. So what's 3k plus 10k? 3 plus 10? 13. 13k equals, what's 7 plus 6? 13. Okay, the last step, divide both sides by 13. K equals 1. Okay, make sure you watch the second video.